Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about planning. And no, I'm not talking about planning out what outfit you're going to wear to school the next day. I'm talking about planning in relation to business and entrepreneurship. My name is Jansen Eisenstadt, and one day I had a mentor that once told me that failing to plan is planning to fail. Now I want everyone to think about this really fast and ask yourselves if you have a plan as far as entrepreneurship or a career path plan that you have. You can relate this to that as well. And if you don't have a plan, then you're just simply going to fail because there's no plan. If you have a plan, you'll have goals that you can set and reach for and potentially succeed that plan. So many of you might be looking at this, and maybe you've said this in your life a few times, which is YOLO, which means you only live once. And this is for people that will make decisions based off either peer pressure or they don't care about the consequences, they just do it because. Now I want to think about what would happen if a business or an entrepreneur had this YOLO mindset, and what would happen with their company or future company if they didn't think about future consequences. Financial planning for entrepreneurs. This is extremely important because one of the first two things you're going to have to do as an entrepreneur is, one, have a business idea, but two, you have to find investment. You have to find funding for your company. Now in this graph right here, this shows in the dark blue companies with a plan, and in the light blue is companies without a plan. And if you notice, in the dark blue, you're almost twice as likely to gain capital investment or a loan from a bank if you have a business plan. And the reason for that is because if you're an investor giving out money or a bank giving out a loan, you're not just going to want to give money to anybody. You're going to want to give money to someone with a business plan, and not just any business plan, a bulletproof business plan that shows how they can gain their investment back and more. Now the next thing is, there's not just one direction for a business plan. Once you have a solid business plan, it can go many different directions. It doesn't necessarily have to be for that specific business, or it doesn't have to be never changing. So in this next video I have that I'm going to show you on the next slide, a business writer named Tim Berry talks about how often we should be revising our business plans and why it's important to do that and how we do it.
Real-time GPS that gives you information as you're going along, which in the case of business planning is plan versus action. What went right? You want to do more of that. What went wrong? You want to work around that. Every month, meet, review your plan, and revise it as you need it, so you end up with better management, better business, and makes your life easier.
One thing I really love about this video and what Tim talks about is talking about what went right and what went wrong with the business plan, and how often we revise it, which is, according to Tim, is every month. So every month we need to sit back in our future plans or current plans and sit there and ask ourselves what went wrong and get rid of those things, and ask ourselves what went right and utilize those things even more. Now, how should my business plan change? How should my business plan end? Well, in most cases, your business plan is going to never end, because a successful business should be a never-ending business that is ongoing forever. So if you have a proper business plan, your business is going to keep going and going and going, and your plan might be revising and changing, but it's always going to be there and it's not going to end. So that is really the end of your business plan. Now, a funny story is, I have a grandpa, very, very, very old, and his nose, very, very, very big, but it hasn't always been that way. It's simply just because he's old. And for humans, your nose actually never stops growing the older you get, which is a very interesting fact. So similar to business, if you have the right plan, your business should never stop growing. So 3 main takeaways today is, don't wing it. Don't be the YOLO guy or YOLO entrepreneur or YOLO manager. Please don't wing it. It won't work out. You need to have a plan. You need to know future consequences. The next is using plans to your financial advantage So just like that graph I showed you, having a plan gives you almost twice as good of a chance as someone who doesn't as to getting capital investment or loan from a bank, which is one of the main things in starting a business. And the last thing is plans can change along the way. Just like what Tim talked about in the video, every month plans are going to be revised. That's a lot, especially if a company is a 30-year company. Every month, that is a lot of changing, a lot of revising for a plan, but they're constantly changing, not for bad, but for the better. I just want to thank everybody for your time and for listening to me. Again, my name is Jansen Eisenstadt, and